Hi everyone, welcome back to Kat's Book Corner, where we talk about all things book and bookish. Today I'm going to do a kind of like book challenge. I'm excited though. It started as like a 10 book challenge where like I have 10 questions and I pick a book for each of them, but I couldn't decide between a couple, so it just turned into a 20 book challenge because each question now has 2 books for it. And it worked. Yeah, it worked. And most of them you've heard me talk about for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I'm not really going to be like surprised if like parts of this is skipped through because I've been talking about most of these books for weeks because I don't really have anything else to talk about. If you guys have any ideas, I'm kind of running low at the moment, so I would really like to hear them and I would really, really need them. But getting into the first question, which is a book that made me think. The first one I have is The Naturals. For the first one I have. More like actually like the entire series, but I'm just going to use the first one. Now, I did figure out the ending. I did figure out the whole like cliffhanger thing. I figured out the cliffhanger. Well, it's not really a cliffhanger. I figured out the twist, I guess is what it is. I figured it out. I guessed who it was, but I didn't guess the reasoning. The reasoning was good. I liked that. And also, it's basically like reading a YA version of Criminal Minds, and I love Criminal Minds, so I'm like, yes, I love this. And it introduced me to one of my favorite, like, non-magical, like, real life, real world found families. Like, I love that entire group of people. But, like, that series made me think because I'm like, okay. It's going through all these details, trying to piece together, like, oh, I love a good mystery. And that's what that book was. It was like a really, really good mystery. And I really, really liked it. Like, I really, really did. Now, normally I don't. I'm actually, like, The Naturals is a series that, like, sort of came at me, like, with no reason. Because I didn't buy it for myself. My mom bought it for me 2 years ago. And I just started reading it last year. And I finished it a couple months ago. But, like, I never planned on reading it, but I did, and I really loved it. Like, it made me think, and I really, really liked that. Like, the first one, it's my least favorite of the entire series, but not by much, by like a tiny, tiny margin. But I really, really liked it. Okay, moving on to the second one that made me think, which is Foul Lady Fortune. Now, I talked about this one a couple months ago, maybe almost a year ago, actually, because I read this in March, I think. But it follows Rosalind and Ryan and like so many other POVs, and I'm like, oh. But I so called the big twist at the end. I so called that, and I can't wait. With Priest, I so called who Priest was. I so did, and I love it. But like the whole like Winter Soldiery thing, ah, I always love that type of thing because it's heartbreaking, but it's so interesting. And I always like, oh, it made me think, and I want to read the second one. But I don't have the second one. But like, there were so many like details. I called the Winter Soldiery thing too. I called that. But like, there were so many details where you're like, well, this doesn't make sense with the information we have right now. So we're like, where are these pieces coming from? How do we piece them together? But it's so good. And I didn't expect to like this one. I honestly didn't. I didn't expect to like it because it's completely out of my genre. It's realistic fiction with like a twist because there is some fantastical elements, but it does take place in the real world. It takes place in Shanghai. Like, it takes place in the real world and there's like real world problems, but there's also like the fantastical elements, like with the serum, like the Winter Soldier stuff, and like a couple other things. But like, it's still realistic enough. But no, it made me think because there was one part I didn't see coming with who was controlling the Winter Soldier. I was like, I didn't see that coming, but there are plenty of other things I did, so I was like, oof, I loved it. Okay, moving on to question number 2. A book that surprised me. Now, I've talked about this book since I got back to school. I've talked about it so much. I really don't know how I'm going to be able to stop talking about this book because it's Finding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Like, this book completely came up on me. I bought this book on a whim. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I didn't expect to get myself attached to these characters. I didn't expect to care this much to, like, want to read the second one. Like, I honestly didn't. But I did, so we're gonna deal with it. But, like, it's crazy. Like, I got attached so quickly to Shannon and Johnny and Gypsy and Claire and Lizzie and Huey and, like, all these characters. I got attached, and I'm like, really don't really know what to do about it. Like, I got attached, and but I didn't expect it because I don't read sports romances. I mean, not that I would consider this a sports romance, because it isn't. I mean, yeah, like, the main part of the main points is about rugby and stuff, but, like, I wouldn't consider this a sports romance. I honestly wouldn't. But it's just, like, I never expected me to like this book. Like, I bought it on a whim because I was at Target and I wanted a book and it was there, so I got it. And even, like, my sister was like, you know, you should get this book because the cover was pretty to her, and she was like, pick it. I'm like, I did, so. But I loved it, and I cried, and I got attached. But, like, it's, I can't wait to figure out where the rest of the story goes because there's just so much that I really want to know. Okay, the second one is Red, White, and Royal Blue. Also, didn't expect to like this one. Like, I honestly did not expect to like this one, like, one bit, like, at all. Like, I honestly didn't. And I'm glad I liked it, because I think this was my first romance. Because I read a FF one with Gideon the Ninth, with Gideon and Harrow. But I think this was my first 2 male love interests with Alex and Henry. But, like, this was like fully contemporary, and I have been branching out enough where I'm like, I can read contemporary and I can love contemporary, but this was like full contemporary. Like, it had like real world stuff in it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels, I don't want to say realistic because it's not, but realistic, I guess. Like, that's the best word for it, even though it's not. But it's just, I don't know, I really, really liked it, and I loved the mixed media part of it. Like, where you got their emails and you got their texts, so it felt like you were actually having, like, a piece of it. It was so good. And, like, even the movie was alright. It wasn't as good as the book, mind you, but it was alright. I liked it. But the book was really good. And Alex and Henry, they're adorable together. And I love it. I love it so much. Like, I wouldn't have imagined them to be as adorable together. But they are, and I love it. And it's cute. Oh, it's just, I love it so much. And I didn't expect it. Okay, number 3. A book that made me happy. The first one, Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban. It's one of my favorite of the Harry Potters. Because I love the Marauders. I love the Marauders so much. And this is the most Marauders focused book we get. I mean, there are a lot of parts in the 7th one which are very Marauder focused, and in the 5th one that are very Marauder focused. But this one is literally the Marauders book. Because we have 3 Marauders in it. And, well, you think there's 4 for like a split second, and then you're heartbroken when it's not, even though you know in your head it can't be. Like, that entire chapter where you're, like, leading up to believing that the 4th Marauder is there, and you're like, it can't be. And you know in your head it can't be true. but you're just hoping, and then it doesn't. But like, it's even better in my opinion. I like the way that sort of comes together. But and I love Padfoot. As I've said, he's my favorite. Padfoot and Moony are literally my favorite characters of the entire saga. I love them so much. I mean, there are some parts that are like a little iffy. Like, I'm not a huge fan of a time turner. I find them a little boring and a little convoluted, but otherwise fine. And the whole Buckbeak thing, I mean, I get they had to have like a reason to use it, and then they had to have a reason for it, but it's like, are we sure this was the big reason we needed? But it's fine. Ugh, but I love the Marauders. This also is one of the books where I hate Snape the most. I hate Snape in general, just because of who he is as a character. This is one of the books where I hate him the most. It's also, I think this book is where my hatred of Dumbledore starts. Because I have a really big one of him. But like, I think this is where it starts. Because he's not that big of a deal in the second one, but this one he is. Okay, moving on to the second one, which is Spider-Man The Darkest Hours ambiance. It makes me happy because it reminds me of when I was a kid. Like, it makes me happy because it literally makes me feel like I am watching a Saturday morning cartoon Spider-Man. Because each of the plot lines of the 3 separate stories in there felt like they could fit in one of like the cartoons I watched as a kid. Like, I can imagine it as an episode. And it made me happy that I could imagine it as an episode. And there's just so many things, like Jigsaw Jameson, and like the whole trench coat and fedora thing. Because those were so much in the show where I was like, these are ridiculous, but it's hilarious and I love it. And there's so many things that are like, I love it so much. Like, if one of like, the one, I think from the 60s, maybe the 90s, I forget which one, but like one of the ones, if they got like maybe 2 more seasons, I could see the plot lines of those stories literally being there. Like, they would fit in pretty well. And I loved it so much. And it always makes me happy to read about Spider-Man, even though he's going through so much, because Spider-Man can never be happy, apparently. Like, I think that's literally like a comic rule. Like, I mean, I'm not serious, but like, come on, it's literally like a comic rule. Spider-Man can't be happy. But, I love Spider-Man. Favorite superhero, #1. Just all of the characters in that, I'm like, yes. And then Felicia's there, because she's my favorite. Okay, #4. A book that made me sad. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. It made me sad for 2 reasons. One, because I have to wait now, and I don't want to wait. But I have to wait, and I don't want to. I have to wait for the next one, which will be like in a year and a half. And also because it's just sad. Like, the ending is just, it's sad. Like, don't look for me, it's yours now. What did you do? What you asked me to? Or if it's a short one, we'll make it a good one. Like, or just break the bond. I'm like, can we not? Can we not have all of this trauma? Can we not? But I wouldn't love it if we didn't have the trauma, because but also there's just, it made me cry, and I love it. I love it so much. I can never not love it. Like, I think I will always love it, even if it makes me sad, because it's just, I honestly can't imagine my world without Onyx Storm. Like, that book has become like a central part of my person. Like, as I said, I'm literally thinking about getting a tattoo of this series on my arm. Like, I'm literally thinking about it. Like, it has become so much a part of me. And I literally read Fourth Wing in March, and Onyx Storm and Iron Flame, and I read them in June or July. And like, they literally have become a part of me. Like, I love that series to death. I think it is my new favorite series. And I love it. I love it so much. It's just so good. And I literally cannot imagine. I can't believe I was so scared to read this series. It's perfect to me. Okay, number 2, the Mind F series by S.T. Abbey. As I said, the romance of this story is not dark, like, whatsoever. It is incredibly fluffy, and I love it. But the plot is so dark and so traumatizing and so sad, and I really do not know what to do because, as I said before, and I'm repeating so much, I really am, but it's just, they fit these questions so incredibly well, so I kind of have to use them. But, like, just the entire plotline where you get her full past. Like, that was the part where I had to put the book down because I was sobbing and I could not continue. It was just too much for me. And normally that never, I don't think that has ever happened to me since before or after. Like, normally I can get, like, I might hyperventilate and I don't need to take a break and I can work through it, or it'll cause me to have a panic attack. Because books have caused me to have panic attacks before. It's not fun. I was in school once and I had a panic attack because I was reading. It wasn't fun. But, like, this one literally caused me to have to shut the book because it was too much for me. And that it has never happened before, and it hasn't happened since. But, it's so heartbreaking and so sad, and it's just, she so needed that revenge, and I'm so happy that she got the revenge in the book because it was so needed. Like, those people, I hated them so much because of it. I fully supported her in her endeavors. It was so needed. Okay. A book that makes me feel nostalgic. I've talked about this one before, but the Land of Story series. Like, I haven't read it in a while. I said this last week. I haven't read it in a while, and I really, really want to. Like, I really, really want to. I haven't read it in a really long time. I think I might put it on my Christmas list because I want them. I really, really want them. But, like, it makes me feel nostalgic because I can't remember where I was when I finished The Wishing Spell. Like, I was 4th or 5th grade, and it was a half day, and we came home, me and my sister and my mom, and I was literally putting off eating lunch because I wanted to finish. I think that was the first time where I was like, reading was more important to me than anything else. So I literally put off eating to finish, and I was like, oh, it was so good. And I remember where I was during the final bits of reading the 3rd one. Like, I was in class when I get that whole twist. Because back then I wasn't really focused on predicting the twists. I probably could if I was, like, looking into it and being like, wait, let's see. I probably could have picked out the twist. But, like, reading that twist in class, I was like, oh my gosh. And, like, one of my favorite tropes in the 6th one where it's like, and I loved it so much. I always will love it. And it's, like, I can't remember where I was when I was reading some of these parts, and it will always make me feel, like, nostalgic for them. Like, even thinking about some of the parts, like, thinking about, what's, like, a good one to think about? Bree, I think that's her name, Connor's friend. Like, thinking about her, like, and them going into the portal in the 3rd one, like, that feels really nostalgic to me. I don't know why, because I remember where I was, I think, and I was, like, a kid. So, the next one is Hunted by Megan Spooner. This one is nostalgic for a whole other reason. Now, this isn't very high on my rated list. Like, this is, like, a 3.75. Like, this isn't very high at all. It only feels nostalgic to me because of how I imagined the Beast. And I said this when I was rating that book a couple months ago. For some reason, the way one line was phrased very early on in the book, it made me, I think the line was, I can't exactly remember, but it said that the Beast sat back on his haunches, like, you know, how a dog would. And I don't know why, But that one sentence made me think of the Beast from the animated Beauty and the Beast. Because there's one scene from that movie where he sits back on his haunches. So I was like, that's what he looks like now. I have no reason to think he looks like that, but he did in my head. So for the entirety of the book, he looks like the Beast. And Beauty and the Beast was literally one of the Disney movies I watched the most as a kid. So that's why it's pretty nostalgic to me, because that is what he looks like in my head. Like, he looks like the Beast, so it must be nostalgic. And I got to say, it made me enjoy the book a bit more. Like, it probably would have been like A3 if I didn't imagine it that way. But it got a little higher because I imagined him that way. And it made it really funny to me. Because he's supposed to be scary and intimidating. I'm like, no, he's not. He looks like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And that Beast is not intimidating, like, whatsoever. And I loved it so much. So that's why that one feels nostalgic. Okay. Books that I have a love-hate relationship with. Number 1, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I love the Harry Potter series. I do. I really do. I love the series. It's like, the series is a good story. I love the story. The 5th one irritates me. It really does. Because half, if not most, of the problems in that book could have been solved if they talked to each other. More importantly, if Dumbledore talked to Harry. If they talked to each other, the problems wouldn't have happened. And what happens at the end wouldn't have happened. And I wouldn't have to be sad about it. And also, this book makes me hate Snape. Slightly less, but also slightly more at the same time. Because you see where he's coming from. Like, you know that James is a bully. You were able to figure that out. James is a bully. The Marauders were bullies. Like, I'm not making excuses for that. I know they were bullies. Like, but more specifically, they were really, really mean to Snape. And I do respect that. But also, they were children. Snape doesn't change. He's still a giant child. He did not change. The rest of the Marauders changed, either for better or worse. And, like, I still hate Snape, and I love the Marauders, so I can't really change that, but, like, it irritates me. Because this is the book where a lot of people, like, are being like, oh, Snape does what he does, like, they support Snape, and I'm like, I don't get it. I really don't why you would, considering his actions. I don't. It irritates me. Okay, the second one I have a love-hate relationship with is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. This is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. I enjoyed a lot of it. A lot of it I really do truly enjoy. It would have been much higher if it didn't have this entire trope at the end. So, spoilers, because I am going to spoil the trope. It is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and we all know in a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, there has to be the whole problem with, I will spin the straw into gold, I get your firstborn child. That's the entirety of the Rumpelstiltskin story. So I get why Serelda becomes pregnant with Gild's child in order to complete that transaction. So it's not like stealing a random kid, it's just our kid. I get that. It's just, it annoys me. That's how she gets out of her problem. That is how she, like, basically is with the Errol King. That's the reason. And, like, they leave this on the whole ridiculous cliffhanger where Gild doesn't know. It's just, it infuriates me a little bit. But I love the stories that comes with it. And I basically love that she's the daughter of, like, basically their god of lies or god of stories, which is, like, their type of Loki. And, like, I love that type of thing where, like, the god of lies is actually the god of stories. Ugh, I find that fascinating. So I get what they were trying to do. I don't like it, though. I knew going in I probably wouldn't like it because it was a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and considering the Rumpelstiltskin was the love interest, that was how it was going to have to go in order for it to be like kind of okay for them to take a kid. So I get it. It's just I don't like it. Okay, number 7. A book that I have reread the most. 1, Six of Crows. I read that book, I want to say like 6 times. Like, I have read it so much. Like, and I remember I read it the first time. It was so new, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. I do. I want to say in high school when I read it the first time. I don't remember what age, but I was in high school, I think. And I remember, like, going play by play with my dad, like, talking about it. And I loved that. Like, I loved going, like, talking about the entirety of the story with him. I feel like that's what made me love it more. Because I was able, like, to fully, like, be, like, just nitpick all of the details and all of the quotes I loved. And just, like, play by play it with him. And I really liked that. And I read it again, I think, 2 summers after that. And it was just as good that time. Oh, it was so good. I love it. And, like, really, like, seeing all of the foreshadowing. And, like, the parts where you could be like, oh, I feel so bad here. And it's just, oh, I love it so much. And then I read it again and again. And then 2 summers ago, I tabbed it. Because that's what I started tabbing a couple years ago. And, like, it's just, there's so many quotes in that book that make me laugh. Like, my ghost won't associate with your ghost. And it's just, it's perfect. And I love it. I love it so much. Like, I love the Crows. They, I think, are, if not one of, my top found families. Like, they work so well together. And it's, it makes me happy. And I love it so much. I really do. It's so good. Next one is, the second one I reread the most is The Philosopher's Stone. I have read that book so much. I read it with my mom the first time. Then I reread it by myself when I was in 4th grade, I want to say. Then I did my whole full reread the first time when I was in 8th grade. Then I did it again, where I only read the first couple. I didn't really finish. I read the first couple. Then I did my whole read the entire series in a week, which kind of sucked because I wasn't sleeping. That one sucked. But then I read it with my sister, and then I read it again by myself. Like, that book, I feel like I will always reread that book. Because it is, I can finish that one in 3 hours. Like, that one is not hard to finish. Like, I can finish that book really fast. Probably not 3 hours, probably like a little longer than 3 hours, but like I can finish that book real fast. Like, I can finish that book in an entire day. And I love it. Because it always, like, it feels like the journey's starting again. Even though sometimes I read them out of order, or sometimes I only read the first one and I don't read any of the others. It feels like, well, 1, coming home, and 2, it feels nostalgic. I mean, I could have put this one for, like, the one at the top, but I didn't want to. But, like, it feels like coming home, and it feels like I'm starting the journey again. Like, and I always love, I haven't done this in a while, but every time I reread the entire series full way through, I always love to read the first one after the 7th one. I don't know why, I love doing that. Because it, like, you see the end, but then you can go right back to the beginning. And I love the whole, like, how much each character has changed. It's just, it's so good, and I love it. Okay. Books that made me want to travel. Number 1 is The Hobbit. I mean, this shouldn't come as, like, much surprise, because that entire book is basically traveling through Middle-earth. And it's, and I'll probably feel this way about Lord of the Rings, too. Because, like, that's literally what they're doing. They're traveling all across Middle-earth. And, like, you get to see, like, so many landscapes. Like, they're going up the mountains, into the mountains, all these little villages. Like, it feels cozy. I think that's the right word. Like, it feels cozy. Like, traveling around. Like, and like you can like imagine like all these places like pretty vividly. Like there, you can imagine them like pretty vividly, and I really liked that. And it's just, it's like, it's so good. And like even when like you're in the dank caves, like when they're with the goblins and stuff, and like you see Gollum, who's my favorite. He was my favorite in the movies, and he is my favorite in the book. Like I love Gollum. Like he is the best. And like you can even imagine it, like him just like being on the water, like with his little boat. And there's just so many like things that you can like fully like realize, like when they're in the mines. Like it makes me want to travel, because I'm like, I'd like to go to these places. I mean, I know they don't exist, but I would like to go. I would like to go to these places. I would like to like be in like a Middle Earth setting. I feel like that'd be fun. To like be in the wilderness and stuff. That really would be like kind of fun. And I kind of want to do it. The second one I have, Daughter of the Pirate King. Well, there's a couple reasons, because as I said before, this is basically a Pirates of the Caribbean, but like it's a girl version, because she's Captain Jack Sparrow, but she's also Ella Lawson. Like she is basically a female Captain Jack Sparrow, and I love it. And like every time I watch the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, well, at least the trilogy, I'm not a huge fan of 4 and 5, but like when I watch the trilogy, I'm like, I want to do this. I want to travel the open seas. Even though I probably would get seasick, and I really don't like being on boats. But like, I want to sail the open sea. Like, I want to be a pirate whenever I watch those things. I'm like, like that's what that book made me feel like. It made me feel like I want to be like on the open seas. I want to like live the pirate life, even though it would be kind of sucky. But like, that's what that book made me want to do. I can't wait to read the second one to see if it gives me the same feeling, because I do have the second one with me. It's just, I haven't read it yet, and I will probably read it soon, hopefully. I've been busy, so it's like, hopefully I'll read it soon. But like, I hope it gives me the same feeling, because the feeling I got with the first one, it felt fun. And it felt like a freedom, basically. I don't know if that's the right word, but it made me want to like sail on the open seas, to be a pirate life for me. Like that's what it made me feel like. I mean, that's what the Pirates of the Caribbean movies made me feel like too. Like they make me want to be a pirate, even though I would be a god-awful pirate. I would be awful as a pirate. I would complain way too much as a pirate. But like that's what the book and the movies make me want to do. Okay, number 9. A book that gave me all the feels. Number 1, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Like, obviously. Like, that one is like a no-brainer. Like, that one makes me happy and sad and angry and mad, and it makes me feel everything, that book. And it helps. Like, that book, surprisingly, is one of the books that helps me the most. Because it helps me when I'm at my worst, but it also helps me stay above my worst, if that makes sense. Like, if I read that book, because I read it at my worst, and it's what pushed me to get out of my worst. Not by itself. There were plenty of other factors, but like, it helped. And like, then I read it when I was like cresting, like where I was almost down, but I was like still in the middle, and it made me go up a little bit. Like, that book is the book to read if I am going too low. And I always will love that book for that. Because it pulled me out of real dark times, and it made me happy. Which, at the time I read it the first time, I wasn't happy for a really, really long time. So it helped quite a bit. And, like, that will always be... Like, I remember where I was when I smiled reading that book. Like, I remember smiling, it felt like my first real smile in a very long time. And it felt nice and freeing, and I really needed it, and I'm so happy that I had it. because I really truly did need it. So I am forever thankful for that, even though some people don't like it, but I love it. So the next one, I don't know if I've talked about so much. Like I might have mentioned it like once or twice, but I don't really know if I really mentioned it. But it is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. This gave me so many feels because it made me happy, it made me sad, it made me cry, it made me angry. The entire ending was just sadness and anger wrapped in up. Like, wrapped together, sadness and anger. Oh. Like, I will not be afraid. Like, Sam is adorable. And I love him so much. I really, really do. He was just, so great. I loved him in that book. And Selena, also great. Like, the first 3 stories, I love how they set the scene. They're like, these are your characters, get to know them. And like you can get to know them like real quickly. You're like, okay, I know that she likes this, they like that, blah, blah, blah. But then the last 2, you're like, yeah, okay, we're getting real now. We're getting real, and I'm mad. Real mad. And I really, really do want to continue the series. This will be like one of my goals for the next year. Like, I'm going to make a list of the big series that I want to finish next year. But like, this is one of them. Throne of Glass has been on my list for a very long time. I just have never gotten around to it. Also, probably one of the last people to ever read the series. Everyone has read the series, except me. I haven't. So, I am real excited for that. So, but yeah, like that book made me cry, and it's just, it makes me mad. Okay. A book that I wish I hadn't read. Now, I have 2. Both for different reasons. Number 1 is New Moon by Stephenie Meyer. Actually, it can be any book in the Twilight series. I hate all of them so much. They're so boring. But New Moon specifically is incredibly boring. Literally nothing happens in that book. It is so boring. Literally half the book, nothing happens. Like, the first chapter is where the breakup happens, and you're like, okay, what happens now? And then you're like, nothing happens. And then you've got like the whole ending in Italy. I'm like, this is kind of interesting, but not really. It's really boring, actually, and I really hate it, and I can't exactly fix it because it sucks, and makes me mad. It makes me so mad. Like, literally any of the other books. Like, the first one, fine. Like, I can read that one just fine. It actually got kind of interesting towards the end. But the second one, it put me off the entire series immediately because nothing happened, and it sucked. The third one maybe rose my spirits just a bit because we got the backstories and the vampires were being unhinged, which is my favorite part because they are unhinged. But that's it. Like, literally, then the last one completely dampened everything because you're like, okay, they're getting married, that's fun. And then nothing. Again, and then you're in Jacob. Like, why is Jacob here? For no reason. And then the demon spawn's born. Like, it's just, I hate it so much. Okay, but the last one is Dorothy Must Die. I hate this for 2 reasons. I hate this book because it gave me the wrong information. It really did. You read the back of the book. It gives you very specific things about what this book should be about. No, those things do not happen in the book. They will happen in the next one. So why did I get this information now? I don't know, because it didn't help. I was looking forward to what this information was on the back. didn't happen. So the rest of the book was like kind of boring. And I'm not really sure if I should like the love interest or not, if he's using our main character. Which, to be fair, I might be fine with if he was, because he looks like a monkey. Okay, fine. He honestly probably doesn't look like a monkey. He probably doesn't. But in my head, he looks like a monkey. So, he looks like a monkey. Can't really help that. And, like, there are plot points that I enjoy. Like, I liked the lion. Like, I liked how the lion worked. I liked how the scarecrow worked. I especially liked how the scarecrow worked. He was fun. I liked the wizard. Like, there are plenty of points where I'm like, this could actually be good. And if I was given the correct information to read the book, maybe I would have been happy. But I didn't get that information. I didn't. I got the wrong information from the back of the book. So maybe going into the second one, I will be expecting better, because that's supposed to be the plot of the second one, even though they gave it to me on the first one. So I hate it, but it's like, it's fine. I regret reading it because I was given the wrong information. If I was given the right information, I probably wouldn't regret it as much. But, you know, that's what I got. But if you like this, please comment down below some more ideas for me, because I'm running low. But if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.